Something big just changed in the NFC East. Right before Thursday night's showdown, the Philadelphia Eagles just got the kind of news every fan dreams of, and for the Giants, it's the kind of gut punch that could derail their entire week. The Birds are getting healthier, stronger, and hungrier, while New York suddenly finds itself without its top playmaker. And make no mistake, this could tilt everything in Philly's favor. For weeks, it felt like the Eagles were playing with fire, winning close games, surviving mistakes, and still sitting near the top of the league. But now, right as the lights get brighter and the pressure mounts, the tide might finally be turning back in their favor. Thursday night's matchup against the Giants isn't just another game. It's a statement opportunity, a chance for the Eagles to remind everyone that one bad quarter, or one shocking loss, doesn't define who they are. Philadelphia still stands at 4-1, with every win coming against playoff-caliber teams. And yet, despite that record, they haven't even played their best football yet. That's the scary part for the rest of the league. The potential is there, they've shown flashes of brilliance on both sides of the ball, but consistency has been missing. Now, they get their chance to fix that, against a wounded rival. The Giants, on the other hand, are limping into this one. Saquon Barkley, their heart, their spark, their entire offensive engine, is dealing with knee soreness, even though he insists he's ready to go. The truth? You can tell he's pushing through it. He told reporters he's excited to play, brushing off questions about his health. But any running back knows, soreness and power don't mix well against a defensive front like Philly's. Meanwhile, the Eagles are slowly piecing their powerhouse roster back together. Jalen Carter, despite a lingering heel and shoulder issue, is expected to suit up. And that's huge. Because when Carter is on the field, chaos follows, quarterbacks panic, pockets collapse, and offensive lines crumble. Yes, they'll be without a few key names like Landon Dickerson, but the spirit of this team feels different. There's energy building again, that next man up mentality that fueled their Super Bowl run last season. The locker room knows what's at stake. A primetime NFC East game. A chance to prove that the Philly fire hasn't dimmed. The same fire that carried them to one of the most dominant stretches in football over the past 2 years. And across the field? A desperate Giants team clinging to hope, a team that knows what happens if they fall behind early. Thursday night in MetLife won't just be a football game, it'll be a test of pride, health, and heart. And the Eagles? They're walking into that test with a storm brewing behind them. So here's the question, Eagles fans, what's your confidence level heading into Thursday night? Drop your game prediction below. Will Philly remind the NFC who's boss, or will the Giants pull off a miracle without their star? Let's hear it in the comments. Eagle fire sometimes, it's not the stars that define a season, it's the grinders, the ones who've been cut, doubted, and still refuse to quit. And for the Philadelphia Eagles, one of those unsung heroes is finally getting his moment under the lights. Brad Toth isn't a household name. He doesn't have highlight reels or endorsement deals. What he does have is grit, and a story that perfectly captures what it means to be a Philadelphia Eagle. Cut. Re-signed. Released again. 8 times. 8 times, this man packed his locker, said goodbye to teammates, and walked out not knowing if he'd ever come back. But he never stopped believing. This Thursday night, after years of fighting for a spot, Toth will finally get his first official start of the 2025 season. And that's not just another roster move, it's a story of persistence meeting opportunity. He's not a flashy player, but he's consistent, reliable in every sense of the word. Coaches trust him because he knows his job and executes it. He can play multiple positions, fill in wherever needed, and now he'll line up against one of the NFL's toughest defensive fronts, the New York Giants. And let's be clear, this Giants front isn't ordinary. On paper, with stars like Dexter Lawrence, Burns, and Carter, they should be terrifying. But so far this year, they've struggled to live up to that potential, ranking near the bottom of the league in sacks. Still, this matchup won't be easy. Last week, the Eagles gave up 6 sacks to a relentless Denver front, and that simply can't happen again. Jalen Hurts needs time, and this offensive line needs redemption. That's where players like Toth come in, guys who understand that protecting your quarterback isn't just a job, it's a mission. Head coach Nick Sirianni said it best: Toth is reliable, consistent, and ready when called. And those aren't just words. They're the foundation of this team's culture: next man up, no excuses. The return of a fighter, and just when things couldn't get more inspiring, another warrior returns. 10 months ago, linebacker Nakobe Dean went down with a devastating knee injury in that unforgettable wild card battle against Green Bay. The road back has been long, filled with rehab, doubt, and hard work. Now, he's back. Active. Ready. Hungry. Dean won't be out there for every snap, maybe just 10 or 15 plays, but that doesn't matter. His presence alone changes the energy on defense. Vic Fangio gets one of his most intelligent, instinctive defenders back, the kind of player who doesn't just tackle, but leads. And the timing couldn't be more perfect. Because as the Eagles prepare for Thursday night under the MetLife lights, they're not just playing for standings or stats. They're playing for every guy who fought his way back, from Brad Toth to Nakobe Dean. 2 different journeys. 1 shared heartbeat. And both could make all the difference when the whistle blows. Eagles fans, how much impact do you think Nakobe Dean's return will have on this defense? And do you believe Brad Toth will rise to the challenge on his first start? Drop your predictions below. This game feels like it's going to be something special. Eagle fire. Sometimes, the biggest turning point in a season doesn't happen on the field, it happens behind closed doors. And for the Philadelphia Eagles, that moment came right after a stormy week of doubt, frustration, and truth-telling. The Eagles are gearing up for Thursday night, but the atmosphere around this team feels different. There's tension, sure, but also focus. You can sense that this group knows they're standing at a crossroads. On the other side of the line, the New York Giants are limping in, both literally and figuratively. Their receiving core is in shambles. Their top wideout, Darius Slayton, is officially out with a hamstring injury, leaving rookie quarterback Jackson Dart with a patchwork set of weapons: Jalen Hyatt, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Gunnar Olszewski. That's not exactly a group that strikes fear into defenses. They'll get running back Tyrone Tracy back, but even that feels like a footnote, because Cam Skattebo has already claimed that backfield. The Giants' offense looks disjointed, uncertain, and underpowered. And now, on a short week, they have to face Vic Fangio's defense, one of the most complex and punishing in football. That's not a matchup, that's a gauntlet. Jackson Dart has shown flashes. His win over the Chargers was gutsy and electric, the kind of performance that gives a fan base hope. But last week? It was the kind of game that humbles you. 2 interceptions. Poor reads. A collapse against a Saints defense that exposed every rookie habit in the book. Now, the rookie walks into Philadelphia's path, a defense that disguises everything, shifts constantly, and forces quarterbacks to play chess while getting hit by freight trains. And even though the Eagles know they should dominate, they're not underestimating him. He's tough, one defender said. He's confident, he trusts his arm, and they've got a lot of design runs for him. You can't sleep on a guy like that. It's the right mindset, because in the NFL, the minute you think a game's already won, it's already lost. But the real story isn't the Giants, it's the Eagles themselves. See, something broke last week. 6 sacks allowed. Miscommunication everywhere. Frustration boiling over. And when your leaders, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Saquon Barkley, hold a private meeting on a Monday morning, you know it's serious. Rumors spread fast. Was there tension? Was someone unhappy? Was this the start of a locker room divide? No. In fact, it was the opposite. When the players spoke later, they didn't dodge questions, but they didn't point fingers either. It wasn't about anger, Hurts said calmly. It was about ownership. About getting back on the same page. That's the kind of leadership Philadelphia fans live for. The willingness to face the problem, not hide from it. We just talked as teammates, one player said. About what we can control, and how we can move forward together. And then Hurts, ever steady, ever composed, shut the door on the drama. I don't want to make this about that, he told reporters. We've got a short week, a division rival, and an opportunity to improve. That's what matters. It wasn't deflection, it was focus. And that's what makes this moment feel like a potential pivot point for the entire season. Because when a team filled with stars finally decides to look in the mirror and talk, really talk, about what's wrong, that's where transformation begins. The Eagles' offense has been sputtering, but now, with open communication and renewed energy, this feels like a reset. A reminder of who they are and what they stand for: toughness, unity, and accountability. So as Thursday night approaches, the story isn't just about the Giants being short-handed. It's about whether Philadelphia can channel that meeting, that raw honesty, into something real. Because this isn't just another game on the schedule. It's a test of leadership. A test of chemistry. And maybe, just maybe, the night the Eagles find themselves again. Every great team faces a moment where the excuses stop, and the truth finally steps into the light. For the Eagles, that moment came this week, when all eyes turned to their struggling offense and the man calling the plays. When Kellen Patullo stepped to the podium, it wasn't just another press conference, it was a reckoning. The city wanted answers. The players needed belief. But what they got was a whole lot of words and not much clarity. It's not that Patullo doesn't care, he does. You can hear it in his voice, the frustration, the weight of expectation pressing on every syllable. But sometimes, words aren't enough. Because the reality is brutally simple, Philadelphia's offense has fallen flat. They rank 28th or worse in nearly every offensive category: first downs per play, yards per game, and 3-and-out rate. For a team with this much talent, that's not just disappointing, it's unacceptable. Something has to give. But here's the twist, and the reason Thursday night could change everything: the Giants play man coverage. A lot of it. In fact, they're the second heaviest man coverage team in the entire league. And if there's one thing this Eagles offense thrives on, it's shredding man-to-man defenses. A.J. Brown loves that look. Jalen Hurts sees it and smiles. Because when defenders play tight, Philly plays explosive. And the Giants? On a short week, they won't have time to reinvent their defense. That's the kind of matchup that could finally let the Eagles breathe, finally let them be themselves again. Still, one game won't fix everything. But one strong performance, one confident, controlled, complete performance, could start the healing process. Because right now, it's not just about stats or schemes. It's about pride. It's about proving that this offense, this team, still knows who they are. We're close, says Saquon Barkley. Saquon spoke quietly but with conviction when asked about his now famous meeting with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, the one that's had every sports show in Philly buzzing. I think the focus was all about the team, Barkley said. It was a good thing. Sometimes, it doesn't click right away. But there've been sparks, halves where we've looked untouchable. We just have to make those halves full games. That's not frustration talking, that's faith. Faith that the talent is there. That the chemistry can return. That the pieces can still fit if everyone pulls in the same direction. And it's true, the flashes have been there. Those quarters where the Eagles' offense feels unstoppable, like poetry in motion. But it's been inconsistent, choppy, uneven. Now, Barkley's message is clear: keep grinding. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Because when this offense finally clicks, it's going to be scary, for everyone else. The Giants are wounded, no top receiver, a shaky run game, and a rookie quarterback staring down one of the toughest defenses in football. The Eagles? They've been punched, questioned, doubted. But sometimes, that's exactly what a team needs to wake up. So here it is, a bold, confident prediction: Eagles 31, Giants 17. A statement win. A reminder of who they are. And maybe, just maybe, the night everything starts to fall back into place.